Everybody. This is Abe here, and you're looking at a micro NASDAQ chart. It's a 333 tick chart. Um, just for you guys who don't know me, I'm on Forex Factory. Got a thread there called Abe's median line thread, and I'm there off and on. Sometimes I'm pretty active, and sometimes I can go weeks without putting anything up. But anyway, I'm kind of new to this recording thing, so this is going to be a hindsight, historical review of what I do to trade futures, the futures market. I know some of you are going to say, anybody can get it in hindsight. And that's okay, because what I hope to do is eventually be able to do this live as I'm actually trading. But I can tell you, for any of you guys who know, when you start recording and trying to post this stuff, it's kind of weird. Anyway, so just a little quick thing on the futures. This micro E-mini NASDAQ 100, it costs 50 cents for a quarter tick. So that's, for one tick, comes to $2. That's about as cheap as you can get in the futures. And I guess some of you know that the micros just came out not too long ago. Kind of makes it affordable for some of us who don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to trade the futures market. This is in comparison to here's the E-mini, $5 per quarter tick, and you can see your initial margin. You have to have a minimum of about $8,000, whereas with this micro E-mini NASDAQ, you only need an initial margin of 836, and it's affordable. You can look up here. You can also do the micro E-mini, but it's a little more expensive to trade. May say, oh, it's only $1.25 a tick per 0.25 tick, but let me tell you, it moves quickly. You can be either up in a hurry or down in a hurry, and you can see the initial margin is there. So I like this the micro NASDAQ. So anyway, quit boring you guys. I'll get on with what I do. So you all know I use median lines, and I'm going to show you how I do that. A lot of people are confused about how median lines are really used, and so I'll probably surprise you as I go through. Anyway, this green line represents the open of the market. So once it opens, I pretty much ignore what's happened behind there, because that's all after hours trading, and that can be, some people can trade this. I just ignore it, and I start fresh every day, and start with how the market starts off. So you can see it opens, and just so you can see how fast this is moving, each one of these bars is taking, right now is at the beginning of the open, is taking 10 or 15 seconds. So a 333 tick chart moves pretty quickly, but I like the way the swings develop, and swings is what it's all about for me. And that's really what median lines are all about. It's about the swings. So here we go. We open, price comes up. We get what looks like a swing high, but I can't call it a high until I have some kind of low, which is here. So a new low, if you want to call that a new low, that to me, it's kind of just in the same line here. But let's say that it is, that would confirm that high. At this point, I'm going to just be watching. I want to see the swings develop into something a little more significant. So it moves up, basically, it pokes the high a little bit, but to me, I'm just going to consider that this is starting to range. It comes down, it kind of drifts down, it tests this area here, and then it starts to move up again. So far to me, this is boring. I'm not even thinking about trading any of this right now. Now we get a new high. So now this is more developed. I got a low, I got a high, I got a low, I got a high. So this high confirms this swing low. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to put a median line in, and I'm going to start from this swing here, and I'm not going to use this one right here because well, I'm just not going to use this one. I'm going to go up to this new high because this high really didn't do anything, and if I put it there it would look really funky. Here, let me just show you real quick, and it just doesn't make any sense. You know, sometimes things just got to look right, and you know, what are you going to do with that? Yeah, you could say, oh, some people say, oh, you know, it's got frequency, and I'm going to get short and it's going to go all the way down here. Well, as many of you know in my thread, I don't give too much credence to this frequency kind of stuff, and you know, I'm not trying to, you know, badmouth it or anything. I just don't use it, and I'm going to be using price action, and I'll show you how I do that here as we go along here. So I'm putting this up here. This is going to be A pivot, B pivot, and C pivot. Okay, so let's move things along here. Now, once I get up here and I got what looks like a C pivot, and this is what, you know, median line traders, well, how do you know when you got a C pivot? Well, honestly, you don't know that that's a C until price hits this median line. This is the median line right here. These are really parallels. This one and this one, parallel, parallel. This is the median line. So when people say it hit the median line, they're really saying it hit the center of this whole median line set. Okay, now, so what I like to look for, well, just so you know, once it hits C, and we're going to say that's C, and it comes down, it could just go straight down here, and it may not give you any kind of clue that it's going down here, and you're just going to watch it, and you're going to have to wait. I'm not going to chase it. I'm not going to get in because just because I think it's going down. I need to see something that tells me that price might get down there, and I fully am in the mindset of considering a trade down to the median line, because it'll often drift down like that. So here it makes a swing. We got, let's say that's A, and this is B. I'm not going to call that C, and again, it's kind of like this over here. It just pokes this right here. Look, it just barely pokes it. So to me, it's just testing the bottom here. It could range. So I'm going to watch it, and what I would have done is I'd be having me a median line like this. Okay, I'd have, this is going to be A, this is going to be C, B, and then I'm considering this. You know, again, it looks funky. I'm not going to go for that. So I want to see another swing that's about that size if possible, a well-developed swing coming down. And I'm going to be like following it down like this, and I'm going to see what happens. Oh, it breaks down. Okay, hold on here. So I'm just following it down right now, not even thinking about trading. I don't see any. Well, okay, I'll show you one, but I don't know if I would have got here, but I'm just going to show you. It's a consideration, and I want to show you all the possibilities. Because they are possible, and if you're consistent about what you do, that's where you become profitable, where you use reasonableness. So I'm gonna stick something in here real quick. Hang on. Boom. All right, here we got an outside bar. Okay, and it's not only is it an outside bar, it's what I call a wide range bar, and that means that it's bigger than 1, 2, 3, at least 3 previous bars. And you can see this one's bigger than about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is probably as bigger or the same size. It comes down pretty hard. It's also a gap. Let me make this a little bigger so I can show you what that means. And these are, for me, that are a very important elements of trading, and I don't know how traders don't trade without it, but this outside bar, to me, that means buyers stepped in, they brought it down, they closed on their low, they kept going. when they came up here, they tested this. So, that's a reasonable area to take a trade. And you know why? Well, number one, if you could get a stop here, or you could get a stop here, and that's pretty reasonable. There's not a big area. So sometimes, some people will say you got a good stop, you got to trade. So I don't know. When you're live, sometimes I'm not going to say I would have taken that trade. I'm probably going to sit on it and watch. And this is where, once I get down below here, and you can see here's a good. Well, no, I can't say that, because this median line is not yet for sure. This new one I've drawn in. So as what I was doing, sorry if I'm rambling here. Like I said, this is new, and I'm not going to do that. I don't like it. Some people may be able to say, oh yeah, I got something there, but for me, it's not. It comes down here, okay? It starts to swing up, and then it falls back and it breaks down below again. All right, and then we're on the median line of the big median line here. So I'm just going to draw it all the way down right there. So at this point, if I didn't know that price had moved up and it pushes down below here, that's significant. And how it pushed down, if it had, let's say that this big old bar right here fell down below here, then it kind of says maybe things are going to start going short, and I might need to look for a short somewhere around this big median line. Just on the side here, just because this occurs right here, if say it did, doesn't mean I'm going to get short when it comes back to this line. And that's another, I think, is a misconception, is people think you get short or long when it comes back to these lines. And as I said before, I don't trade these lines ever. I trade price action. So if this had come down, I would have here's something. And I use these little rectangles quite a bit, because they help me see price. So I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to bring it down here. And so, like I said, let's say that this had gone through this, sliced through this median line, I might have considered getting short when it came back up to this area, because this is a wide range bar. It's a big gap, and the gap is from here. Notice that the low of this one and the high of this one, they don't come back to each other. So this is considered a gap in between, and it's a wide range bar gap. So again, price action, that's significant. So it doesn't slice through the median line. It comes down, look at the closes, and then look at the close of this one. So we got like a swap right here in price. You see the tail here? These were sellers. They brought it down, and then they came back up. It opens, comes down to here, and the buyers take it all the way up, and they overcome these sellers. Okay, that's price action. That's what it is. If you can't describe those bars like that, then you don't know what price action is, but that's what price action is. And you can use that, because now we close up, close on its high, and now we zoom right through this. These buyers, look at this, a wide range bar gap. Strong, powerful sellers brought this down, and then the buyers overtook it. Now I know we could sit here and we could say, these guys, they took it down hard, because you know what they're doing? They're trying to get everybody off sides by pulling it down. So they got everybody, a lot of people, the breakout traders and everybody, I got to get on. So they get short right here. And where do you think they got their stops at? Where would you put your stop if you were short down here? You'd probably have it above this. Look at these guys. I mean, let's just do this. Okay, so let's pull this up. I'll make this a little thinner. These are sellers right here. This line of sellers. They sold it down, came up, it held, sold it down, came up, it held, they sold it down again, and then they come up and they just whipsaw right through, and they take them all out. So that's significant, and that's something, I love. This to me is just an easy trade once it does that and it comes out, because I want price to come right back down here. I'm getting long anywhere in here. It doesn't have to be precise. This, you don't have to get long in this rectangle. You can get long when it just comes back down to here and have your stop down here, or that's kind of a big stop from up here to down here. So I would probably have had a limit order somewhere in this area, and you can see it barely touches that. So depending on where you put a limit order, you may or may not have got filled, and then it pops up, and once it gets up here, don't chase it, let it go. But if you got in down here, that's awesome. And that's you just take a picture of that. That's just a picture perfect trade right here. Anyway, so the other thing is, remember, we got this median line right here. Look what happens. This guy zooms it. Remember I told you about earlier before, it zooms it. That's an indication, a good indication, that price is intending to continue upwards, but price swings. So you can't expect it to, if you take a breakout trade above this, you can do that, but you got to expect that price is going to swing and it's going to come back down. And, once it gets down here, you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So anyway, I'll put limit orders in. I do use some stop orders, buy stop or sell stops. And if I see something here, I'll show you where I do it. But I wouldn't do it here, because to do a buy stop above here, yeah, you could have. I guess you could have. You know why? Is because if you put a buy stop and you get in, you can put a stop right here. Okay, so that's another thing. But I tend to go for the limits rather than the stops, because. And then we got another thing, and I'm showing you lots of different options on how, because I use all of these different ways all the time to get into trades. So I'm going to take this there's another right here, check that out. That's another wide range bar. It's a huge gap. If you weren't sure here and price comes up, when it comes back down into this area, that's not a bad, a limit order somewhere in here. If you can get in and get filled and put your stop probably right underneath here, not bad at all. So if you got in somewhere in here, for me, I'm probably in here. Let's pull out a little bit, see what happens here. So we know what's going up, but what do you do once you're in? You're going to need a target of some kind. So I don't do 1-to-1 trades. I might do a 2-to-1, but ideally I like to get about a 3-to-1 trade in. So I'd be doing some measuring in here. If I got in here and I got my stop down here, then I'm going to measure this. You can kind of eyeball it. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. So I would want to be getting out somewhere up in here. Now, if I'm in the trade and I'm watching it and it comes above here, one thing about median lines is that, okay, this big guy here we got A, B, C, and D. Once I've got D and price bounces up, to me, this big median line is done, pretty much. I'm not going to say you can't use it again, but I don't know. It's done that and it's pulling up. I'm gonna dump it. So I'm gonna get rid of this line, and it's gonna start to clear things up. And what am I gonna do? Well, I don't really need this one. If I'm watching and price starts to come above here, I need to change things up a little bit. And actually this can help you do get your target also. So I'm gonna take that out. And so what do I got here? Remember, I'm gonna use swings. And I got me a new swing here that I'm going to use. So I'm going to put that in. And that's this guy right here. Okay, let me try that again. All right. I got an A and I got my B. And when price comes above here, I start looking for C. Okay, so I'd be like putting it there. Okay, it goes through. And I just keep moving it up until I see price start to come down a bit. Okay, see it comes up. There's no decent swing on the downside, and I'm not going to chase price up there. Okay, now we got a little swing right there, but you can see it comes up, it bust through again. Okay, so we'll just keep moving it up. So again, I just would caution, you get this little swing down here. I'm not going to get long on this because it's just way too high. What they say, the old saying is buy, sell high and buy low. So I'm just going to keep watching it. Let's see where it goes. Okay. All right. So now we got us something going on here. All right. So again, I'm going to use I use my median lines to gauge price. So I can't really use that swing because it's not part of this median line. So I'm ignoring that. Probably I'd like to, maybe this is a decent size right here. I'm going to go like that. And then I would be waiting for price to drop below here to see what happens. All right, so I'm just going to put that in. It's not a median line yet. Let's see where it goes. Here we go. Let's see if it drops below. Nope, it's going to range. Look, it's just right there. So, for me, this here is a line of buyers, and I like to use these, what you call them, these rectangles to kind of keep track of where things are. So I got a line of sellers right here. I'm sorry, buyers. Yeah, see, there they are. They're coming down and they are buying it. So that's significant because if this breaks down below here, it has a nice wide range bar that comes through here. I'm really thinking about getting short when price, if it comes back up here. And then taking it down to the median line. So let's see where it goes. Okay, so you can see that this is not going to come down and probably, well, it's already busted through this median line. It comes up and makes a new high. Notice that it zooms the median line, the center line of this median line. Okay, so again, that's significant, and it often usually can mean that price is going to go up higher. So again, I don't think I can get long here. I just don't think I would do it, but I am going to move this up, okay, because that's a new high. A, B. So I'm expecting price to come down to the median line, and let's see where we go. We're getting close to the end of the day. I don't think we're going to get too much. Okay, so here we go. I need to move this guy because it's not correct anymore. So let me just move it down here a little bit and we'll use it again here. All right, so we got some good PA coming down here. Notice that price takes out that guy, and we can again show that by putting this little rectangle in like this. See there. All right, it zooms through. Now that's not as significant as if it busted through here. Okay, it just took out this little set of buyers that brought it up, and I'm not going to automatically get short if it comes back into that area. Okay, let's see where it goes. Okay, so anyway, just to show you what I would have done with this, I would have had this this median line. I would have put it in. Actually, no, I wouldn't have, because we don't have a real swing yet. After I'm saying, I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, so it comes down, and if this had come up here and not made a new high and pulled down, I would have used that median line. But it's up here again. So I guess some people might consider getting long here. You have this buyers took it up. You think, oh, they're gonna come down and bust through. They hold, they bring it up to a new high. Okay, they come down here and they test this area. This is the end of the day. The market is closed. Basically, we're already in after hours trading, so I'm probably done, and that would be the end of it for there. So anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful. Yeah, so this is after hours over here now, and I just basically I'm done way before here. I'm probably done by noonish or so, and so we'll see what happens next week. Anyway, thanks guys.